let's see, whatever. There we go. Nice one here. Granola, spelled sweet granola. Mostly, so like you've got 4 pages of green things inside. Grace, obvious. Yeah, grotto. No, that will stay in the book. So they golden trophy. Obviously, a lot of gold, as you can imagine. So fire bell. That's quite nice, isn't it? Fire bell. It's a nice tall boot. There you go.
So now you know. Now you know. I've also heard rumour that you started designing handbags, which I think is incredibly exciting. And I'd love to know what we can expect from the collection that I know will be held, will be here at Selfridges, the exclusive collection here. What can we expect? Are they tying into sort of the shoe ideas, or are they completely new idea for you?
Well, I've held off forever, it seems, from making handbags, because I'm a shoemaker, a shoe designer, largely Italian based, but I decided a year ago that actually what I would like to do is just do a single bag story and see whether we could make that work. And I know there are brands of bag that are just a single bag that just repeat season in, season out with minor changes. And I thought that'd be a really nice thing to do if we could set something that could become iconic, could become simple, and just didn't really change it that much, but just used different materials. And so I don't know whether anyone remember that, or whether anyone had the little music satchels, so the sort of single bar that came over the top, or with one handle and a bar, and you put the music in. That was this sort of inspiration. It was such a lovely, and to my mind, perfect piece of design. It was just perfectly shaped, functioning, little brass accessory. What could be sweeter? And so from that point, I thought, well, I'm going to build a collection of bags, from a clutch to a tote, to shoulder, to a crossbody, based around that bar idea and a flap. And so that's what I've done. And the multiple colours, we've got a lot of exclusive styles done for Selfridges, but it's largely based on that simple idea of that closure. And so I'm hoping that it'll take a little time. We've got some great publicity on it already. And but it's not. I haven't any intention to actually be a bag designer and have a bag collection yet. It's a really success. Wait my words. But at the moment, I just actually really like that idea of just having something that's quietly repeated every season, slight changes, just to keep it fresh. So that's the bag story. We've only literally started this. I mean, they've been in store about 3 weeks, and they're not. We're doing something in May with Selfridges downstairs, so that will be quite exciting.
Very exciting. I guess lastly, do you have any sort of really valuable advice on how to go about choosing that perfect shoe for you? Have you sort of examined a woman's foot to the degree that you can give us some sort of advice that we can take away with us, Mr. Sanderson?
Well, it's quite a contrary lot. I have no idea what goes through a woman's mind. I can't honestly never worn any shoes. I have a very abstract relationship with the work that I do. So, but it's always not for me to advise, because I put my work out there. I put the shoes on the shelf, and then it's almost the most exciting part of all is when you get the reaction. A woman puts a pair of shoes on, they change. It's a great sort of almost more than any other piece of clothing or an accessory. Shoes really are transformative, and I can't second guess that. I've got a sense that I really like a pair of shoes, or because sometimes I can be really wrong. But sometimes I can be right. Sometimes I get a style or a design that, and the two seem to come together really well. So the advice is just keep trying them. Come to me.
Thank you so much. That sort of concludes our Q&A. I don't know if you have any quick questions for.
Have you ever considered men's collections? Have you ever considered men's?
I've sort of considered it, but I think it's a very, very different world. I mean, on almost every level. Firstly, you know, they do make men's shoes, so they make very good men's shoes, but as you can see, fairly traditional. I probably have about 6 pairs of these boots, all identical. So I have sort of, my relationship with men's shoes is very limited, since I've sort of settled on something that works for me. The idea of me going and designing loads and loads of shoes that I would never wear is quite, I can't have that abstract relationship with men's shoes. I have to sort of, you know, I have to basically wear what I make, design. So, but that's sort of slightly fudging the issue.
You don't wear women's shoes.
No, that's true, because now I can keep designing them, because I don't actually have to connect fully, but I don't have to make that final leap of faith and put them on. I can keep them up there on a pedestal somewhere. But yeah, so in a way, I would probably, I wouldn't rush into it, actually. I think, you know, we've done sneakers which are working well, and you see you can make them a bit bigger. So I'm looking forward to my first pair of my sneakers. But not yet. I think there's a lot more to do with women's shoes. You probably have a lot more shoes than men.
Where's been your highlight of your career so far? Is there any particular shoe that you've been most proud of, and why?
You tend to there's certain. I mean, not one particular shoe. I suppose there may be something. There was a shoe that we made about 7 years ago. It's this incredibly simple core shoe, but it was beautifully. It was also shoemaking at its best in a way, because it was like just all about silhouette, just as simple as you can get, nothing less than just a line, a piece of material, and just its shape. And I was really amazed that I just made this incredibly simple shoe, thinking, and it really got picked up all over the place. We sold fantastic well, it got huge amounts of press, everyone loved it, people called it their shoe of love, you know, it was all very exciting. And so there was a certain gave me great confidence that you didn't have to, it sort of crystallised my sense that, yeah, you don't have to go crazy with shoes to get a fantastic, achieve great effect. So I always like it when I make a shoe that's really simple and also outrageously not much, but everyone really responds to it very well. So yeah, probably that shoe, the glitter pump, about 7 years ago.
I don't know if we have much more time. I'll look at Sophie in the back to see if we have a bit more time. Okay. Any more questions?
When you design, do you take into account sort of like, do you have a perfect equation for sort of some sort of comfort, as well as, you know, in terms of height and the angle of the foot? Because I think Louboutin are like renowned for their discomfort and the pain in flesh. I love them, but so do you kind of take that into account when you design?
Well, you slightly answered your own question, because you own painful shoes, and he's
I don't.
Oh, you don't own? Okay. Well, he hasn't done too badly making painful shoes. So, I mean, again, coming back to sort of the contrariness of women, is that if you explain, or you make, or you promote, obviously, that shoes are comfortable, you're almost doing yourself a disservice, because people just don't want to know. They actually want to feel sexy and fantastic, and, you know, the envy of all their friends, first and foremost, rather than, oh, I'm really comfortable. So I sort of, whilst, yes, I do design them properly, and, you know, I'm not putting nails in them, and, you know, no, I mean, I make proper lasts for the shoes, and they're all properly balanced, and they work properly as shoes. And I can't help myself making, you know, them fit and be comfortable. But, it doesn't. I get nil point for comfort in this business. As Christian Louboutin's proved. You know.
We had a conversation, I don't know if you remember it, at the Wolseley some years ago about whether or not low heels were coming. This was probably about 4 or 5 years ago.
I don't remember.
And I said, yes, absolutely, yes. And Dolly Jones, who's the editor of Vogue.co.uk, said, no. So even between us, we disagreed. But I do think there are so many great lower heel options. You have beautiful lower heels. And there's something very elegant about a lower heel, although I have to say for an evening, for something, I think it's really about having so many different options in your wardrobe.
I think it's a counter. There's the big treble platforms, stilts, which we all really enjoyed designing very, very high shoes as well. But there's something very cool about getting that mid-heel right. And a woman can, recently in the last couple of seasons, the shoes that most caught my eye, or the things I most enjoyed designing, have been this sort of, it's slightly awkward, it rubs against the grain. I was thinking, high heels, platforms, thin heels. If you could do something that's it's just a freshness to it, that mid-heel. Certain women, and it's quite interesting seeing the shows, the winter shows, how many editors in the front row people were wearing simple, pointed, block-heeled, mid-heel shoes. So, and they're all split. By this time next year, there's either will all be in them, and or it'll move on. But they're here for a while. I know the magazine at the moment is a big, featured in the block heel story. They look really fresh. They look great. They're here for the summer. I think they'll really take hold this year.
There's some good options that aren't going to kill you. Do you have time for more? One more question. Oh gosh, that makes it hard. Okay, I'll let the woman with the microphone choose.
Is there a style of shoe out there that you wish you designed? Someone else's?
It's more to do with not necessarily an individual style. It's a shoe that I don't know.
Past or present?
I think if you come up with it's actually coming up with a bit of technology that then defines a category that which then has longevity and is around for a long time. That would be quite, coming up with the espadrilles would be quite a clever idea. Shoemaker and rope. Really simple, that would be quite clever. I'd like to have done that, but as an individual, just one design. No, it's not something that I think the sort of old Roger Vivier shoes that broke the mold, or certain sort of things he did, which you physically just cannot do now. Which is always sort of the leather that they were using in the 50s was just so tanned in a different way. It was almost like paper, but it was strong enough to be lasted by hand. So you could make these incredibly sharp sort of toe shapes and these sort of squared off toes that you could open letter with those shoes. And that's quite, I was always, when I was starting out, I was always trying to get this real precision to the toes, and you just couldn't do it. And that's because they were made literally painstakingly with this tiny, really glacé kid leather by hand. So there's some lovely shapes that he did, chalk heel, that sort of thing. It's basically impossible to wear in its original format. Some weight that comes down here and it's bent back, and it just looks so dramatic.
So watch this space. Next espadrille on its way. Thank you so much for coming. I think we're going to conclude now. Thank you again for your patience and for listening and for coming along. So thanks again.
Thanks very much. Great. Some drinks going on.